Rent. All right, welcome back to Give Me Rent. We're going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch 2, which came out 2 weeks ago now. It's been
I
been
don't,
out for 2
I
weeks.
don't know. It was awesome.
All right, so one of us was able to get hands-on experience with it. I don't think you don't own it.
I don't own it.
Okay, yeah, he doesn't own it, but Brandon got a chance to try the Switch 2.
Yeah, because
haven't
if you
even
don't
seen
know,
one in
they are
person.
kind of. I mean, you could get one right now, but they're pretty hard to come by.
The
Like,
bundle at
pre-
the time was
yeah.
$500, and I think it was like $30 off with the Mario Kart.
Yeah,
with
because
it,
you get
which
50.
I should have. I
yeah.
wish I did it, but
In the end of the day, though, there's only Mario Kart for it right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can play games.
So
better.
walk us through it. You played it for a good
Upgraded
few
games.
hours. What did
But
you
yeah,
did
yeah,
you
let's talk
did you
about
think
your
it made
experience.
some necessary jumps from the first system?
Well,
Did you like it?
the one thing I do want to say about before this, because I hear that it runs like old games better because of backwards compatibility.
Well, there's also
Somebody-
upgraded versions of the old games.
I
which
want
is
to
fair.
say
Yeah,
is
it's
somebody
cool.
lost like 20 years of Pokemon on their thing, which is why I'm not getting the Switch.
Oh,
until
the
it's
data
fixed.
transfer
Did you hear what
wasn't
happened?
good.
20 plus years from like the Game
What
Boy
game
to
would that
now.
be? Oh,
Dude, so you could transfer everything.
You
from,
could tra-
so
you
you
could
could
I didn't
transfer
know that.
data
I
from the
didn't know
GameCube?
that.
So no,
From
no.
the Game Boy?
So, yeah,
He
and
kept
the
it
GameCube.
going.
So
Oh my.
I have this too. So you have the DS, not the Lite. I mean, I think you can with the Lite, but you have your Game Boy cartridge at the bottom.
Yeah.
You have your DS one at the top, right? Your last generation Pokemon was like the Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire before they went to DS. So then you have Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. At the end, you meet Professor Oak. I'm explaining this so people understand who don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have them both connected to the same thing.
Yeah.
You migrate at the end game your Pokemon from your PC down below in the Game Boy to your DS, and then you
I
can
already knew
keep
that. That's pretty
migrating.
Okay, so just in simplified words, you can just
But
transfer
now-
your data
Yeah.
from the
And
Game
then
Boy
you
to
can-
the DS.
But now
and then
that
you
it's
go
all
from the
digital-
DS to the Switch
Okay,
and
and
Pokemon
so on
Home,
and so forth.
and that's not a thing.
So before the Switch 2 came out, people were able to transfer the data from Pokemon to the Switch 1.
Yes, and
Okay.
then they cut it off because it was like Pokemon Home and the service you had to have downloaded prior and be able
Got
to
it.
do it, and it stays
But now
in your
there's
Switch.
issues with it, just the
Transfer.
wireless.
I haven't looked much into it, but I saw that happened, and I just want to say to
know
people,
why this cartridge was.
this scares me because from somebody, and you guys know, I have Pokemon from when I was 7 years old at the GameStop exclusives. Where you go in, you would connect to the Wi-Fi, and it would give you a mystery gift of like a shiny Palkia.
I didn't even know they did that.
It was
Pretty
it was a
cool.
very niche thing, but it was very cool. And
Definitely.
And Pokemon's a very big franchise, as we know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that
But
is
does
got to
that
be
make your account like worth money?
It
I don't know
definitely-
how it works,
I don't know
right?
if it does. I haven't looked into it. I know I have a lot of.
No,
So
yeah,
you're
Pokemon
scared
fans, it probably
to
does.
bring it onto the Switch. Too,
I
if you
want
were
to.
get one.
I'm not even kidding. I might wait until that is completely patched and
Yeah.
fixed
No, I get
because
it.
I think I would lose my mind if
Yeah.
stuff I've had since I'm like 5, 6 years old gone completely. All that work and time, because Pokemon is a game
get
where
that.
you can continue bringing it, which is why I love it so much. So it's not like, oh my god, I have all these rare things and all this work I put into, whether it's a shiny
Yes.
Pokemon.
All right, well that's
You've been
so
collecting
that is
for life.
alarming. But
Yeah.
let's talk gameplay wise.
Well, do you think?
what did
Well, you said you
Yes,
would wait
well,
to get a Switch too.
That's what I was
I'm
gonna
curious
say,
with
yeah.
this though. There's only one. There's
Yeah, exactly.
a
So
launch
let's talk-
title, Mario Kart World, which seems really great.
Well, you
and
could play
fun.
older games though. What
And
did you
older
get to
games-
experience?
I
when
got
you
to
played
experience
it?
just Mario Kart.
Mario Kart
and
World.
I want to say something so important about it. They changed the game for the best. I really think.
But so do you think that game solely, like obviously, yeah, we've talked. There's the other
That is
new
Mc-
versions of games, stuff like that. But do you think that warrants the purchase of the console right now?
Yeah, I mean, if
Really?
if you really are that person who doesn't care about, like I said,
Hear 'em out.
with my issue, like with Pokemon, which is why I'm not getting it yet.
Yeah.
If you're somebody that just wants to play, get into it, and you're like such a diehard Nintendo fan, then go get it. Be a part. I call them like the hamster, the test subjects, because you're getting.
Yeah.
There could be something wrong with these
No,
consoles.
let
and they
them
could be
let them
coming
rock.
back.
I think it's awesome that people were kind of excited about this again,
The
because
guinea
I didn't
pigs.
even expect. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest, because I haven't really been keeping up with it. But I saw people lining up. Best Buy,
I saw
GameStop.
genuine people lined
I was
up.
just kind of curious, and I went over and saw, and yeah, they were lined up, midnight release. They were lined up at like 10:30.
Very funny to see that after the reactions of the pricing too, because everyone was like,
Exactly,
a
that's
bunch
what
of
I'm
people were
pointing out.
mad,
Yeah,
but there were
exactly, yeah.
still people lined out the doors for midnight releases.
There's a lot of
these
people
things.
probably reselling them as well for
Yeah.
that first day.
That's
But I do think a lot of people, were pretty excited.
But back to Mario Kart. Before I talk about the gameplay, I want to talk about what they've added to it. So you have 25 players now in
well,
Mario
I didn't
Kart,
even know that.
and
I knew it was more.
it felt a lot fast. The gameplay felt very liquid.
Can you make it 12, or is it just?
I didn't try because it's once again
It's
wasn't
not
my
yours,
Switch,
yeah.
but the controller felt great. Also, felt very light.
You tried
felt
just
nice.
like the game.
I played it with the Joy-Cons where they
like
slide
just
into
like
the middle.
pad, or
Yeah.
you played it on
No, I
TV?
didn't play on the pad. We played on here on the TV.
Okay.
On the screen.
Yeah.
And I used my brother's friend's console and the Joy-Con. So
Better improvement.
I felt like it was very light and it still felt very similar to the first
But
Switch.
they're a little bigger, right? A little bit.
A little bit longer. Honestly, like I said, I played it for like 4 hours.
But it's
2
a
hours.
very similar
whatever.
system. I mean,
It is.
Obvious.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Because let's be real, they kind of nailed it
upgraded
with the
Switch.
Switch one.
They
I'm gonna
did.
be real. Like what they needed to improve on was like, all the capabilities and how it looks. So did they improve on that? Like,
I think they did it. And one thing I want to say is, especially with the first Mario Kart, where there was a lot of delay and some issues with
Mario Kart 8.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there was
The first of the
sometimes some delay, or not even that. Like it just didn't feel as good, the driving, as this game did. This game, I feel like
Smooth.
they completely made it smooth.
Did
and
you
smooth.
try
That was
the
it.
well, the newest aspect of it is the open world. Did you try the open world?
I didn't try the
aspect?
open world unless if that's what you're referring to. Because like I said, I
Yeah.
like going to these games blind because I love Mario. I like
Yeah.
to just figure it out myself.
Yeah.
But you finish the race, you go from the end of your track, and then you fly up, and then you go right into the next race.
Yeah, no,
and the
you
next-
could literally
I
do.
thought
There's
that-
an open world
I-
mode to the game.
I haven't
where you
done
can
that.
just
I know that
drive around.
I've heard about it. I
Yeah.
didn't want to see it because I want to see it for myself.
So
but
is it still
Great.
lap tracks and?
no, there was some that was like 7 lap.
Wow.
It was just, but it's different than what you think.
That's
and
cool.
it's more chaotic in a good way because the game feels like it's going a lot more
Well,
faster.
they needed to do
25
something
people.
different for the
You can-
franchise.
I
they
went
did.
from
Mario Kart 8
I went
was
from 25th
the title for
to
a
then
while.
I
First
made my way
title
to
in like 9
first,
years.
back
So.
to third, back to third. Like it's so chaotic and hectic, and the bots that you have with these CPUs, they actually have some skill. I mean, they don't have skill; they're programmed.
They're getting
but
better at making them.
They give you a challenge a little bit
Yeah.
instead of like in the past where it's like you've reached everyone and you stay boring up in first. It's like no, there's some stakes to it, especially with friends, and that's why I love it so much because
Did you
it's-
play multiplayer or did you play alone?
No, we play multiplayer. It was
Multiplayer.
3 of us,
Gotcha.
and then 22 CPUs.
How did that? Was it smooth? Was the
Oh, it was
split screen
great.
smooth?
It was great. It was great.
Awesome.
How seamless is
'Cause
this
I-
system?
It was fast.
I think the best multiplayer games they have done in the past were Mario Kart. Mario Kart, they actually did do pretty well.
Such
with
a
the
great.
Switch one.
I
Not
did
every
see-
game on the Switch was
Listen, I
good in
did see that
multiplayer,
they
though.
did upgrade some games. Like not
Yes.
not just graphics wise. Like Mario Party has new features for the Switch. They look very fun. Implement the
Yeah,
camera.
kind of implementing the
I saw
camera
that,
more
which
than ever.
definitely- That looks really fun.
Would you
Big
buy a
party game
camera
guy,
if you
so.
were to get a Switch? Do you think it's like a kind of a needed accessory? No.
It's not needed, but it's cool.
seems
It's
cool,
not.
yeah.
It's not too much. Like an extra remote or something.
Well, it's funny. I saw that the new like welcome game for the Switch 2, you generally can't complete without buying
like every trophy in
like
it.
$200 of extra
That's
accessories for the Switch
actually
2.
ridiculous.
So not that everyone needs to complete that game, but it's just crazy to me that
Oh,
it's
yeah,
at
it
a
is.
$500 price point.
They
You gotta
greedy.
spend $100 to $200 more on your accessories for the system. I find that
A little
interesting.
ridiculous.
I won't even say if it's ridiculous or not, because if it's worth it and it's really that
All right,
fun,
so
it's
wait,
worth it,
so
I
Mario
guess,
Kart
you know?
World though, going back to that, the title. Do you think this is one of their stronger launch titles? I mean,
Well,
let's go down
Odyssey
the list.
Well,
was
that
Let's
genuinely
go down
was
the
my
list.
main thing when
Let's
I heard
talk
it.
about
I
the
was like,
others.
wow, okay, like I get there hasn't been a Mario Kart title in a good 8-9 years.
Yeah.
But that as a launch title to me seemed a bit of a confusing decision. I thought it would be more of 3D Mario,
Especially since it was originally being
something.
made for the first Switch.
Yes, I mean it's just. What do you think? Do you think it's a good release title for the Switch? It's the only release title, which is even more
I'm
crazy.
gonna be honest with you. The Switch is not like the Wii, where the Wii wasn't really a solo player console. I feel like the Switch is very dynamic.
Oh,
and,
it's definitely supposed to be multiplayer.
and this
play.
is very
It leans
more.
into
It's
that, for
very,
sure.
very, very big
However,
multiplayer.
I will bring
Think
up.
about
I'm
the
going to bring
Switch
up
1
right now
launch title.
all the modern release titles for
we will,
Nintendo
but I did
games.
want to
Yeah.
say I feel like if they're going more for multiplayer friendly more than anything
Yes.
else and try to promote that, they
That's a good
succeed. They did more than succeed my expectations because of how well the game ran.
Yeah.
And people do forget we've had some buggy Nintendo games in
Mm-hmm.
the past where it's like, all right, this game holds back because of this, or this system holds back. This is the fact that there's not really, besides the transfer with that guy's data issue, there hasn't been any crazy complaints.
seen a lot
And
of
even if there
people-
are small bugs, it's a release.
A
Title.
lot of
They'll-
people
they'll
have
fix
said
it.
though
You know what I
that
mean? They have
the
time.
Switch 2 for a lot of games are like this is how it should always have been played. Like it has fixed some of the running issues for some of their Switch 1 releases, which is interesting. But let's talk about launch titles. What is go down from?
Well, if we bring up the old launch titles, it's pretty incomparable because you got the Nintendo, the original Super Nintendo, and it's
We'll
like
go
Mario
from
Bros.
GameCube
But-
to now.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it.
All right, so
for the releases,
I'm
for
not even
our
going to
time.
mention GameCube. I'm just going to mention the modern titles, which I think is the Wii to now. So the Wii, we know what
Taking
the
a jump.
Wii release game was. That was Wii Sports.
Wii Sports.
Great game, kind of a classic.
Like I said, multiplayer console.
Well, it's
interesting.
interesting.
Well, actually, I will also mention it did have Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess was also a release title for that game. So there was also a Zelda release for the Wii. Which
Look
was
at
big.
Wii Sports like this though. Like that was like a launch title, but also kind of like the tryout game. Like
Yeah.
that new one that you were talking about that will cost you $200 to complete. Wii Sports was kind of that back then.
Wii Sports
And
showed
it
you the
was an
full,
amazing
it
game
showed
in
you the full
itself, too.
capabilities. But also, Twilight Princess was also just a good Zelda title. I'm
I'm saying they got the normal launch title, but they also gave you the game because that was
Yeah.
such a big jump for them system
and we
wise.
see how Wii Sports
It
has
showed you
over
how to play,
time.
like use the remotes.
It's
and all
still
that.
loved by so many people. I play
Exactly.
it. I play it to this day. You know
It
what I
might
mean?
be my favorite of their launch titles just because of it was a game that was just meant to show you the capabilities of the system, but it was so well done.
Look at what it's become now.
that people love
play
it,
it,
and it's
yeah.
held up. Yeah,
It's held up very well.
still a great game.
Moving on to the Wii U. The Wii U release title was New Super Mario Bros. U, which was somewhat solid. I mean, I would argue
Definitely
that it was
a good game,
it's
but
a
that's
good game.
another. I mean, it's single player, but also party.
It was very
play.
interesting seeing a side scroller be, like the one of the main release.
I forgot
titles.
that was the release.
I mean, it also
title.
came out with Nintendo Land and other stuff like that. Like the basic kind of games. But yeah, one of the bigger
That's
release
a good
titles
game,
of
though.
Super Mario.
Yeah,
Good
but
game.
I've
Good
played
game.
it every now and
But
then.
that or Mario Kart World. I mean, you're the only one who could even.
I think Mario Kart World.
Yeah, I think that's an easy, probably
I'm
easy.
not- it's
Well,
a-
I'm not going to say easy. They're
It's just
different.
tough with
It's
the 2D
preference,
side
too.
scroller. I feel like there wasn't.
But it's
a
preference. Some
great
people think
game.
that's the best way
That's
for
true.
Mario to be
Very
presented.
true. And then we move on to the Switch. This is the main one I really want to compare because Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild was the release. Well, that was the biggest release title for the Switch One.
Yeah.
And I think you couldn't have got a better release title. It genuinely showed you
I didn't play
every
it, so I'm not making that
single.
comparison.
Well, that's why I'm gonna tell you right now. It is in my opinion, one of the greatest games ever made. It truly shows you the
a lot
capability
of
of the Switch,
Nintendo
and it
fans
pushes
agree.
it to the max. A release title that pushes those capabilities to genuinely the max and shows you everything.
Well, a
that
lot
the
of
Switch
people
can
for
do.
that game, they're like, yeah, it running on the Switch 2 is insane.
No, exactly.
It's like how
it is
like-
such a good game that it surpassed what the Switch One could do. It
It's crazy for a
sometimes
launch
doesn't run that
title,
well
too. It really
because
puts the system.
you can do so much in it, and there's genuinely kind of endless capabilities of what you can do. And then I just think as a release title, you can't get better than that. It truly showed you exactly this is what the Switch can do, and this is, you know what I mean? Like it perfectly encapsulates.
So from my experience,
Yeah.
I would pick Wii Sports from all these games.
I'm
You're
definitely
gonna pick
picking Breath of the Wild, but I haven't tried
That's
Mario
fair.
Kart World yet.
I've played Breath of the Wild a little bit though. I'm sure if I'd finished the whole game, I'd probably.
But
pick
going
that,
back to what you
'cause it's
said, I
amazing.
do appreciate that they took a very different approach and they were like, no, it's doing multiplayer title as our release title. Because, yeah, the Switch really lends itself to multiplayer stuff. It really does. The handheld version of it and
great
just playing
party
it at
system.
home. It's a great party system and a great multiplayer system.
It's the only system that doubles as a handheld, and it's very interesting for that too. You can bring your Switch pad anywhere and just play Mario Kart.
Well, remember when the Wii U came out and
That's
we
what we
all
thought
thought
it was
that's
gonna
what
be.
it was.
Exactly.
That's why a lot of people bought a Wii U because they were like, oh, it's a handheld version of the Wii. You walk 10
Should've
feet
been
away
able
from
to
your
bring
TV and it stops working. So,
Yeah.
the Switch really just kind of perfected that. And then you got the Switch 2, which, I mean,
And listen, it's
It's
just the
just
beginning.
perfecting
I'm
it even
very
more.
excited to see what they release. I hope Smash Bros comes for it and all that.
I think
type
it
stuff.
will. There's
I
no-
But
that
I
was
will
my next
say
question.
their next release is Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong Bonanza
It
is their
looks
next big
phenomenal.
Nintendo
I will
release.
say it looks really fun.
They're releasing Hyrule Warriors too, but that's really just a kind of a side piece for Legend of Zelda. There probably won't be another Zelda title for quite some time,
Yeah.
especially now that Tears of the Kingdom.
Take a backseat for a little bit.
I also think they need a completely different approach because Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild they're different games, but they
Same
are
map,
very
though.
same map, very
Yeah.
similar just in their approach to the world building and just like
Yeah, so the next was going to be probably
everything
a
like
huge
that.
jump again for the franchise.
I would say they need to make a big jump for
Yeah.
Zelda. And
At least
just
they're
as much as
supplementing people right now with the Hyrule Warriors. I don't really know if that's really
yeah,
different gameplay
it's kind of how they took a big jump with like their approach to Mario. Like the 2D Mario, the last 2D Mario we got was a big kind of different take on that. I think they need to do the same thing.
You're
for
talking about
3D.
Wonder?
Talking about Wonder, yeah.
Was that a good game?
Wonder was a great game. Wonder
Okay.
was a great game because it really did try something new with the 2D format for Mario. I think it's inevitable we'll get a 3D Mario announcement soon.
Probably.
That's probably the next thing. But I also think
Unless Donkey Kong is it.
in the next few years, knock on wood, we'll get a Smash announcement.
I don't even
Something.
say knock
Something.
on wood. We're getting, dude. Every
Maybe they'll just decide to add to the other game.
Every console we've had a Smash.
It was called Ultimate. It's just tough.
I don't think yes. Obviously,
What would it
yes.
be called?
See, I don't know what it'd be called, but that's not the thing though. They have a better working system now. I wouldn't be shocked if they just made a brand new Smash game.
Yeah,
And just,
it's such a great game. Though. It
and
runs pretty well.
I'm not gonna lie to you. The first character that I'm gonna see them put in, and I hope is gonna be somehow Waluigi.
I mean, obviously, everyone we're
But-
waiting.
It's never happened.
but
That'd be the craziest
thing-
announcement
from-
ever.
From Ultimate to now, I want to say something that's very important to Smash in general.
Yeah.
Is they've crossed into a lot of other properties to get these.
For some reason, they will not put him in the game.
Steve, Banjo Kazooie, all this stuff. So now you have a better.
It's just
working-
a running gag
This-
that he won't be in it.
It is,
you
but
know?
the Switch 2 is now known for how well it can run these games. I wouldn't be shocked if they do another Smash and we get some eye-opening characters that fit very well with how the mechanics of this and how well the system runs. Because playing that Mario Kart game and seeing how great it was in the movement and everything, like a Smash game on this would be insane. I really could see them like going into other properties
Big want from people.
and taking some big jumps. And Smash is a game where I think anyone, even I wouldn't be shocked if Ed Boon would want somebody from Mortal Kombat in a Smash game. Like I have no idea what his thoughts would be on that, but I wouldn't be shocked.
I
if
feel
they
like it'd
took
be
a jump.
so weird to see that.
It would-
Even though, Street Fighter made it in.
It is, but
It'd just
we
be shocking.
we also-
I don't doubt that it could
Banjo
happen.
because we saw Steve from Minecraft. You know what I mean? Like the point is, this system feels like it's a very big jump from the Switch 1.
Yeah.
I mean, it could age terribly and somehow go downhill in quality after a while because
Yeah.
sometimes it happens with consoles with over time and they just doesn't
Hopefully
run
they
as well.
continue. Great support for the system. It's year one. I think so far it's looking very promising.
Yeah, they definitely know what the fans want. You know what I mean?
they
They're
have
not.
to be aware of. a
They're
lot of
aware
things.
that fans are clamoring for another Smash title. Like that's always what Nintendo fans are going to be like because it's also a game that
It's
bridges
also this-
all these different.
But it's
games
expected
together,
too
you
that
know?
each console will have a Smash. Bros.
Exactly.
As well.
So I think if Nintendo really, really, really wants to make money on this, they gotta eventually start planting some seeds.
Yeah.
Eventually, it could be a year even.
Start teasing it. Yeah, you're right.
Because
Get
imagine,
people excited.
because think about the teasers that they did for the last Smash game. People were going nuts.
Yeah.
For every single new character
they did
release,
it.
people
And
were
they're gonna
going
have to do that all
There are
over
videos
again.
of people in the Nintendo store going insane for just an announcement of one character.
Yeah.
Well, they
you know?
they did kind of back themselves up into a corner with the last game though, because you have to have everyone from that game in it again.
Most likely. Yeah.
No,
Most
you
of-
have to.
Not everyone. Most
Because
of them.
I
everyone
would
will
disagree
complain.
where it's everyone. There probably will be some complaints, but there's a couple characters
some-
you can get rid of.
Well, there's some DLC characters
There's a
that probably
couple.
they might not have the rights to again.
Exactly.
Okay, maybe some of the DLC, but the main roster has to stay.
Yes, the main roster.
has to.
I'd agree with you.
It-
I
And
didn't
it's
mean main roster.
ginormous.
Yes.
I wouldn't be shocked if we end up seeing like crazy take like Funky Kong or even like Boo or even like other
There's so
Sonic.
many we can
Yeah,
take
it's
from
interesting
this
where
thing.
like
Knuckles,
you can get
Shadow,
more
like-
of those
Think
in
about the endless box they have with Pokemon. Like, there's only a few Pokemon fighters,
Yeah,
and then
they
you
could
can
put
do,
so much more.
You can
fighters
do
into it.
100, 1,000 more Pokemon fighters. Like, you know what I mean? There's such endless with each franchise that they use. That's
I'd
why
like to
I
see
feel like it's
Robotnik.
got to be really hard. I think it's got to be really hard to pick Smash fighters because you're picking from all these different franchises.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be tough. It's got to be tough.
Yeah,
I want him. It's like, yeah, but we can't.
It's crazy. There's so many people in the first game, and there's still
The
a
way
ton that
the
can
way
still
I
come to
look at
that.
it is like Pokemon it's unlimited, but
Yeah.
you gotta understand.
You can
there's-
do an entire
the
fighting
thing
game just for Pokemon.
The thing
let's
is
be
though,
real.
there's
Of them, there's
I
fighting.
mean, it's yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's just
it's
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
But you know what I mean in the
Different.
style of Smash.
But what I was gonna say was there's
Okay.
different typings that kind of make it. All right, you have a fighting type, like you have Lucario and Incineroar you can already cover that. Flying, you already have Charizard. You know what I mean? Like so,
Yeah.
it's more limited than you think because you're not duplicating everything.
That's true. That's true.
But
Because you have it's basically water type. It's each type of Pokemon. That's
but and they learn a lot of the same moves. But going back, to,
I think the roster they had for Ultimate of Pokemon was great. I think that was
oh,
a great
I thought
choice.
so too. I'd add a
The
couple.
one outlier, I mean, not even outlier. I think he was great. Was Incineroar, who was just like,
Yeah, I would add a couple other characters, but back to what I was gonna say is, Sonic franchise only has Sonic. Kirby has at least Meta Knight, DDD, and him.
yeah.
Sonic's characters aren't all identically the same. They're not.
Yeah.
Like they're very diverse.
I would
Put
say,
Robotnik
you know,
in.
Even
Yeah.
not even that, but just even Mega Man. Like, put respect on his name. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Mega Man, but I know that they're not all identical. Those characters, and
something I love about Smash is it makes me, be introduced to characters that I never would really normally just be introduced to. Like Mega Man, I love playing in Smash, so it's like he's, I actually look into the character and see what he's about.
Yeah, a lot of people have been.
I mean,
introduced
I would
to
never,
Smash.
I would probably never look into Mega Man unless I play Smash.
Banjo and Kazooie I thought was cool. I'm not even kidding. Hot take. I'd love to see Ratchet and Clank in a Smash game.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be,
I love this.
that would never happen.
It would never happen, but you
Well,
know,
Banjo and Kazooie being in it, no one thought that would ever happen.
It's true.
That's true.
That was a big jump.
I guess never say never. Was
That's an
Smash.
Xbox. Like
you
Banjo.
can't-
I think
Kazooie-
the best thing that Ultimate showed us is never say never.
Banjo and Kazooie is
You know?
an Xbox game. I think people forget that. Like that's insane.
People were very excited for that.
I was
remember.
so excited because I played it growing up. I wouldn't even be shocked if somehow Crash Bandicoot or Spyro made it into the game.
Yeah,
You know,
Spyro would be cool.
it's very. You know, you are right. It's really there's
They
the,
can
the
do
possibilities.
anything.
are kind of
Like,
endless.
studios,
think
yeah.
about this
Yeah.
think about this for a second. Steve from Minecraft. I'm not even saying because like what's going on with Minecraft, but Steve from Minecraft is in a Super Smash game. Nintendo is one of the biggest gaming companies of all time. They have money.
Yeah.
They realistically want to put
And
somebody
they
in
listen,
the
like
game.
you said, they listen to the fans.
They definitely.
They,
They
try.
do.
They
That's for
really.
sure.
Waluigi
As much
is
as they can.
as much as we joke into meme, he's going to be in the next game. If
Never
teased
say
it.
he
They
will,
teased
though.
it so many times like jokes.
See
Yeah,
that
it's a
one
joke.
that one's tricky because we. You know, if you don't know the story, people genuinely sent death threats to the creator of Smash about including Waluigi in the game. It's kind of a personal. It's more a personal thing. I feel like them not including Waluigi in the game. So we'll see.
I think
we
this
will
is it.
see.
I think this is it.
there's times when fans go too far. That is one of them.
I agree. I
You
think
know?
this is it though where we see it. I mean, Samus only has 3 characters. I could see maybe one getting added from Metroid. But you know what I mean? Like even Pac-Man, I could see him somehow adding a ghost or something else. Like Miss Pac-Man.
100%. The possibilities are kind of endless. You know what I
There's-
mean? Because you're picking from all these different franchises.
Yeah.
You know,
no, it's
the
true.
one that they really utilize the most is clearly Mario, but that makes sense. It's their biggest franchise.
Well, they're also so diverse, all those characters. And I'm going to be honest, them and Sonic, out of the Smash roster and Pokemon, are the 3 of the biggest household names. Let's be real here. Mario, so many people know the niche characters based off of their other games and how Mario Party, Super Sluggers, Strikers, like
Yeah.
everyone's going to know those complex characters, even Mario Kart from playing those games. Yeah, I mean, I could see Dry Bones somehow ending up in the game at this point.
Literally, you can do so
You know,
much.
go to Pokemon, one of the biggest franchises of all time. Let's be realistic here. There's so many people between the cards, the games, the show. I wouldn't be shocked if another couple Pokemon got added. Sonic the Hedgehog is killing it with a live action movie. It's gaining popularity again. I could see a couple other.
Fair point. I would
characters
say
being
those are
added.
the 3 big franchises, probably followed by Zelda
They have-
and followed by
But
Was
the
Smash Bros. Ultimate one of the highest selling games of all time?
without a doubt.
Has to be.
Ah,
So did they have a chance to even
Ah,
make
sure.
a better selling game with this if they
That's-
bring in?
that's
even
my
more
point.
franchises?
It's
They have big opportunity here, but we'll see if they even do it. Because listen, it was called Ultimate. They didn't outright say there would be another one. They said more likely there wouldn't be another one. So time will tell. I think there
you
will
think
be.
they want the fans to know that they're going to be waiting for another game?
Yeah. No. I mean, sometimes they will.
They might not do it. Honestly, if they don't do it, it would be very upsetting.
Yeah.
That the last Smash game. I would like them to make the what's it called? Not the compatibility. Backwards compatibility work better for this, for Ultimate. But gonna have to swallow my pride and accept it if they don't make another game. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It's
Listen, either way, Smash Bros. Or not, it looks like the Switch 2 might have a good life.
It's also a very marketable series, Smash. So I
Yeah.
can't see them.
You're
not.
right. I think they're gonna do it.
Yeah,
I
it's
definitely
just
think
kind
it's
of
gonna
inevitable.
That's like not
because-
making another Pokemon game, and they've
Yeah.
just somehow managed to pump it
So
out.
my prediction, at least my prediction for how the Switch 2 year will go, is I think the next big announcement will, because we do have Donkey Kong Bonanza, but I still think they're working on a 3D Mario title. I do genuinely think that is their next big announcement. But after that, they'll take some time, a couple more Nintendo Directs, probably 2 Nintendo Directs from now. I think there will be a little seed, something.
I think by
Something
the end
at
of
the end.
2025,
By the
we'll
end of
hear
this
about
year,
Mario or Smash.
There will be something. Something's coming. You know what I mean?
Because Donkey Kong will be out.
Because
next
people
month,
bought
and
the
then-
Switch too,
Yeah.
but not. You know what I mean? I feel like the main
They're
general
still
people
waiting
are
for
waiting
more,
to hear
you
what's
know?
going on, waiting for these titles to be announced. Once a Smash title's announced, that is genuinely millions of more people buying this product. Genuinely, people will just be ready because they
people are
want to play a
waiting,
new
like-
Smash title.
People are waiting
You know?
for more titles to be announced. 100%.
That's basically me. That's basically what I'm doing right now. And
I don't know if I'll. Get
also,
it,
I can't
but
really afford it, but
definitely- yeah, it's definitely intriguing.
it's a hefty price, a hefty amount of money for.
I mean, for what you're getting with it
Especially
right
for
now, it's
now.
not
Right
worth
now,
it.
it's
Yeah.
really not worth it.
In my
It's-
opinion.
I wouldn't say it's not a good system, but I just think with the one title, I want to wait for more things.
I
to be
think we're
announced.
all in agreement that Brandon's played it, but I think it looks great. I need to give it time.
We need more
see what
titles.
happens.
We need more time.
Maybe it wasn't ready. No,
No, I wouldn't
it's
say
not
that.
like it wasn't. It's just some people thought that Direct, announcing all these title stuff, it was a little lackluster.
It's just tough for me personally. It's like I can only put so many hours into Mario Kart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's my point too.
I think it's even more for
With
more
the launch
players.
title
Like,
thing.
because obviously, like, think about Zelda too. Not everyone plays Zelda. Like, that's fair. But at least with that game, you could plug yourself in for hours and always have something new to do. With Mario Kart, it's just. I know you got the new open world stuff,
Well,
but it's just a little tougher.
The thing
I feel
is
like.
to unlock new skins because there's so many characters.
That's true.
Get.
Yeah, but it's
You
a
go
grind. It's more of a grind
It
kind
is,
of game.
but
I
you
feel
go
like,
through these
know?
boxes. I don't know if they're
But
boxes
do you
or
think
not.
that
And you unlock
a
a
little
skin.
repetitive? Like,
That's what I'm saying. It's repetitive as
Zelda's
opposed
open world is
to the
very
open
thought
worldness of Zelda games where it's just like there's always something new to do.
Or even the open world Pokemon games they just did.
Yeah,
Legends
exactly. It's
Arceus,
like
Scarlet and
it
Violet.
just seems a little, Mario Kart is like it's racing. That's what. Not that it's not taking anything away from Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart is amazing for what it is. But again, as a launch title, it's just a little bit like okay, like I've played for quite a few hours. Like I'm done with it. It's not as easy to just get lost into. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think interesting launch title for sure.
Yeah, I'm not even saying it's
Having-
bad. It's
That's
just
me
an interesting
having not
choice.
played it, but just seeing what I've seen from it. It definitely looks very fun, but it was an interesting choice.
All this being said, are you guys gonna buy a Switch 2? What do you want the new titles to be?
Possibly.
Do you want a new Smash to come out? Do you think a 3D Mario's coming? Let us know. Comment down below. Catch you guys later.